Hi everybody, this is Johnny. I'm going to give you an overview of Literacy Instructional Task 2, Instructing and Engaging Students in Literacy Learning. I'm going to read through the task, but I'm also going to give comments along the way. Hopefully this will be useful to you. So what do I need to think about? In Literacy Instruction Task 2, you will demonstrate how you support and engage students in literacy learning. Before you begin your instruction, you need to think about the following. What kind of learning environment do you want to develop in order to establish respect and rapport, this is important, and to support students' engagement in learning? What kinds of learning tasks actively engage students in the central focus of the learning segment? How will you elicit and build on student responses in ways that develop and deepen content understanding? In what ways will you connect new content to your students' prior academic learning and personal and community assets during your instruction? How will you use evidence from your instruction to examine and change your teaching practices? A couple things before we get going here. This first part will be one of the rubrics. Respect and rapport is significant in the rubrics related to instruction. You're going to be having to describe engagement, your students' engagement. How are they practicing using the language that matters in your essential literacy strategy? This one is also one of the rubrics, eliciting and building on students' responses, as well as these two, which is both prior academic learning and personal, cultural, and community assets shows up in another rubric. And the last one is about changing your teaching practices, and you'll have to use evidence from video recordings and such to talk about why you might want to make some changes. So that's a start. So what do I need to do? First, you need to obtain required permission for video recording. Before you record your video, ensure that you have the appropriate permission from the parents, guardians of your students, and from adults who appear in the video. Adjust the camera angle to exclude individuals for whom you do not have permission to film. This is about going back to your plans. Examine your plans for the learning segment and identify challenging learning tasks in which you and the students are actively engaged. You have to be doing stuff with language. The video clips you select for submission should provide a sample of how you interact with students to develop an essential literacy strategy and related skills. This is as much about them doing stuff as you. In fact, more so about the kids engaging and doing things with language rather than you just telling them how they should use language. You want to identify lessons to video record. We can talk about that later. Mostly you want to have the first video being about how you engage students in a respectful way, how you activate their prior knowledge, how you tap into their cultural and community assets, and how you might model the essential things that matter in your lesson. The second video should have you working with kids quite a lot in interaction, where you build on respond to their ideas, elicit their ideas first, and just thinking about how kids are doing work with language related to your essential literacy strategy. So you want to provide 2 video clips, no more than 20 minutes, but not less than 3, that demonstrate how you interact with students in a positive literacy environment to develop an essential literacy strategy and related skills. The 2 clips can come from the same or 2 different lessons in the learning segment. So it could come from 1, but it could come from 2. And as I was saying before, I gave you a more elaborate response to this one. 1 clip should show how you actively engage students while modeling the essential literacy strategy. But don't forget about prior knowledge, community assets, positive learning environment as well. A second clip should show how you support students to practice and apply the essential literacy strategy to comprehend or compose text in meaningful context. This is about kids doing the work with language that you'd hoped for from the teaching, but you also need to give attention to your modeling and then also about how you elicit and build on students' ideas for this clip too. And this is an optional piece about what you might put in addition. You may provide evidence of language use with your video clips from Literacy Instruction Task 2 an additional video clip of one or more students using language within the learning segment. And there's a limit to this, no more than 5 minutes in length, and or through student work samples analyzed in the Literacy Assessment Task 3. So you can do this in addition to the 2 video recordings. Determine whether you will feature the whole class or a targeted group of students, and you must have at least 4 students for this instructional task. And you want to video record your classroom teaching. You want to make sure, and it's going to come up here, that the quality of the video and the audio is strong enough so that you can show your good teaching. So you can talk to your teacher preparation program about how to do the recordings well. Tips for video recording your class are available from your teacher preparation program. So then you want to select the video clips to submit. I suggest that you work with peers and look at each other's videos and give each other feedback about which ones to select. So select video clips to submit and verify that the clips meet the following requirements. First, ensure that your students can be seen in the video clips. This is a big deal. Sometimes people submit video clips for TPA and you see the backs of kids' heads. Or you don't see them, you'll see them off camera. And most of the camera footage is on the teacher and not the kids. You want your kids to be at the center of the video. Also, ensure your face appears at least once in the video for identification purposes. That should be plain. Next, check the sound quality to ensure that you and your students can be heard. A suggestion for you is that there may be 3 to 5 lessons that you're going to record to select the 2 segments, but you might record all the learning segment and then choose the ones that are best. It's also really good to do some practice video recording of other lessons so that you can get both the video quality of seeing all the students and the audio quality of hearing what students can say. So try to do both of those. If most of the audio in a clip cannot be understood by a scorer, submit another clip. If there are occasional audio portions of a clip that cannot be understood that are relevant to your commentary responses, do one of the following. First one is provide a transcript with timestamps of the inaudible portion and refer to the transcript in your response. 2, embed quotes with the timestamp references in the commentary response. 3, insert captions in the video. Captions for this purpose will be considered permissible editing. Next, a video clip must be continuous and unedited. This is one of the places where people make mistakes. It must be, first clip has to be with no breaks in it, no editing, start to finish, a complete clip. It's often good to start near the beginning of your lesson and let the first clip be about the first 5, 10, 15 minutes of your lesson. Second clip must not be edited either, no breaks in it at all, and it's best to start it maybe with your modeling or right after where the kids are going to be engaged in the essential literacy strategy and practicing and doing the related skills, but it must not be broken. It must be a continuous clip. Again, a video clip must be continuous and unedited with no interruptions in the events. If you have inadvertently included individuals for whom you do not have permission to film in the video clips you plan to submit, you may use software to blur the faces of these individuals. This is not considered editing. Other portions of the submitted video clips, including the classroom, your face, and the faces of individuals for whom you have not permission to film, should remain unblurred. Do not include the name of the state, school, or district in your video. Use first names only for all individuals appearing in the video. Respond to prompts listed in the literacy instruction commentary that follows this section below after viewing the video clips. I'd suggest that you read over the literacy instruction commentary because that will really key you into what you have to have in your video. You might also review the rubrics for task 2 because they really focus on the things that are necessary to be evident in your video clips. Determine if additional information is needed to understand what you and the students are doing in the video clips. For example, if there are graphics, text, or images that are not clearly visible in the video, or comments that are not clearly heard, you may insert digital copies or transcriptions at the end of the literacy instruction commentary, no more than 2 pages in addition to the responses to commentary prompts. So this is all really good. What you follows this is here, and I'm going to have to make this smaller so you can see it a bit better. Okay, so these are the things that have to show up. You will see the video clips. You can see the supported file types. Work with your program to find out which ones work best. Most of you will be able to get MP4s on your phones. With your phone, you want to make sure you set it at low resolution. There's no requirement for high resolution. There are too many times when candidates or teachers doing TPA run out of memory on their phone because they're recording at too high a resolution. So be good with that. Each one is no more than 20 minutes total, at least 3 minutes. Okay? And you can see some of the parameters here that you need to have in order to make it work. And the second part is a literacy instructional commentary, and this is a written doc. You can see doc or PDF, and no more than 6 pages long. And you can see some of the requirements here. There's one last piece to this. This is a short overview of Literacy Instruction Task 2. You'll find this at the beginning of the guide. Just the good parts version. First thing is you have to obtain required permissions for video recording from parents, guardians of your students, and other adults appearing in the video. Then you want to identify the lessons from the learning segment that you planned in Literacy Planning Task 1 to be video recorded. You should choose lessons that show you interacting with students to support them to independently apply the essential literacy strategy and its related skills. And again, to comprehend or compose text. It's either going to be reading or writing focus in meaningful contexts. You want to video record your teaching and select 2 video clips, no more than 20 minutes total, but not less than 3 minutes. And then you want to analyze your teaching and your students' learning in the video clips by responding to commentary prompts. And I suggest here you want to read the rubrics beforehand, focus on level 3 at least. These are the rubrics that matter. You can see there's 2 artifacts here, the video clips and the commentary that matter to task 2. So this was comment and an overview on Literacy Instruction Task 2. I hope you do well by it. And remember, at the very bottom of this and in the back of at the very end of your handbook, you will find all the descriptors that you might need to understand, the terms that show up in the commentary. So do use that for yourself. So I do hope this has been helpful for you.